Good morning, everybody. Casino Capital here. Interesting day in the markets yesterday. So I just wanted to break it down using the top-down analysis. So first of all, let's start with the 10-year yield. So 10-year yield is inversely proportional to the bond price. So if the yield's going up, bond prices are going down. And the higher yields are pricing in higher interest rates. So for bulls, really, while this is moving up, they're in trouble. And obviously, as you can see, for the last sort of year or so, we've been in a clear uptrend. We're on the weekly here, and we've got the 8 EMA, which is this blue line, and we've been well above this for quite some time. It is starting to soften, starting to round over. So going to be in, and we've got a sort of a bearish weekly pin bar there forming. So let's see how the weekly closed today, and let's just keep an eye on this going forward. But for the minute, until it comes underneath the EMA and we test that as resistance, there's nothing too bullish there for the risk assets. So next, let's go on to the DXY. Okay, so if we zoom out a bit, got on the DXY on the weekly here. So again, obviously everybody knows that a massive uptrend, ridiculous move. We're sort of in this channel at the minute and coming towards the top. Again, if we're using the 8-week EMA, you can see how that has held as a clear support throughout this whole uptrend. Occasionally we've come down and tagged the 21 EMA, but that's not fallen once. And for the minute, we're still above the 8-week EMA. We did test it last week and we got this lovely bullish hammer off it. I say lovely, not lovely for risk bulls, but there we go. So maybe this needs to stall a little bit, but again, until it breaks this 8 EMA to the downside, we test it as resistance and crumbles, risk assets have definitely got some headwinds. So if we go to the stock market next. So again, obviously everyone probably saw this yesterday, crazy day in the markets with the CPI coming out. Market really sold off, losing these lows. The sort of got the support around here and a bigger support where the white line is. But again, great buy-up from the bulls yesterday. We've got a bullish hammer forming, but again, we're still well under this 8-week EMA. So DXY in the yields above the 8-week EMA, stocks beneath the 8-week EMA. So again, until we get above this, hold it as support and move on, really, there's nothing too much to get excited about just yet for the bulls. There's certainly no momentum. Whether or not this is a good value zone remains to be seen, but we've got no bullish momentum just yet. You can see back in the summer where we broke the 8-week here, but again, when we tried to retest it, we failed it. Retest it as resistance, and then we shut the bed. So again, let's keep a close eye on this, because as we all know in the crypto world, the crypto price, particularly Bitcoin, is very correlated to the stock market. Okay, so let's move that little guy out of the way. Let's take him right down there. Okay, so right, let's come on to Bitcoin now. So you can see where we're at here. Maybe this is a better chart just so you can see it from a longer term view. So we're right on top of that 2017, 2018 all-time high. I think, again, for bulls and bears, like the stock market, we're still beneath this 8-week. We've come very close to it. Again, we had that horrible wick down yesterday, testing the lows. That was bought up, but again, we're still beneath this 8-week. So if we're bullish, we need to get above it, hold it as support, and then move up to the next level, which for me is the 21-week, which is currently at about 23.5K. So let's see how the week closes on Sunday. But again, bulls have got to get above this. I mean, if we're looking at the bullish case for it, I showed this on the big video I did the other day. You could argue this is a double bottom forming here, slightly reminiscent to what we had back in 2019. It looks very similar here to what we had back in 2015. So I think that would certainly be the bullish case, is that we kind of double bottom here. But again, we've still got to get above these moving averages if that's the case, as we did here, and as we did back down here in 2015, held the support, and obviously up you go. My personal take is you know, with the macro the way it is, until that DXY and yield roll over, you know, there's going to be possibly more pain. And we're looking at sort of this kind of area here as the next support, which is sort of 11 to 13K. But let's see, you know, maybe we move up first before we come down, or maybe, you know, things aren't different this time. Maybe things are similar to the last cycles. We double bottom here and work our way up. There's certainly a few people, you know, like Credible Crypto and some of the guys who are, you know, respect their views, and that's what they seem to be calling. So, you know, who knows? Let's see. Okay, so let's move on to the alts now. So I want to go over Quant because this one has been absolutely crazy. So show today. So some of the interesting moves we've had here. So again, I've said this on Twitter quite a bit, but there's the bullish case. I mean, we've got this massive similarity of this clear downtrend that was broken. Same again back here in 2019, clear downtrend that was broken. The blue box in each case is, you know, what I'd call, you know, that's like the big point of control for bulls and bears. So you can see how it was big support, it was lost, retested, and we went down a lot. When it was reclaimed, then we were strong. Same again here. This is the key sort of support resistance zone that needs to be flipped. Lost it again, as we did here, shut the bed, but then recovered and broke the downtrend, recovered, broke the downtrend, and now we're above it, which is interesting. I think this is actually consistent or confluent with the 0.5 EMA. Yeah, so there you go. So there's the 0.5 EMA, which for me is the point of control to the bulls and the bears. So the bulls are starting to get a bit of control here. You know, the bullish case would be that we work our way up as we did back in sort of 2020. The bearish case, again, you throw in the macro. If the DXY keeps going, stocks keep falling down, Bitcoin rolls over. I'm struggling to see how this can keep going. Maybe it can, maybe it does a bit of a chain link from 2019, but I think it's certainly improbable. So we need to certainly be mindful of that. But I think the next big zone I'm watching here is this macro fib. So we've got the 618. So usually with these retracements, which is all at the minute, this is all this is, until we get above the high, this is still just a retracement within a bear market. Even though we broke the trend line, we've still got to remain cautious and keep the emotions under control. So usually the spot for reversal to the back to the downside in a retracement would be the 618 to the 786. So we've got the 618 here at 175-ish, something like that. And we've got the 786 at 264, something like that. So that's the kind of range where if this was a retracement, some people will call this a macro A, B, C retracement. If we actually, let's copy the fractal and let's see what that would look like. So if the A leg is proportional to the C leg, if that is what's going on, then let's see where that would roughly take us. Yeah, so there you go. So we've got A, B, C possibly coming to the 786, which could go all the way to 272 before then further downside, either testing the lows or even coming lower. So we've got to keep a very, very close eye on that, not get too ahead of ourselves. As I said, if you are bullish and you're looking to add to your position, let's get the EMAs up. So on the daily, I've got 50, 100, and 200. So let's get rid of the fib just so we can see this a bit better. So I've said this on Twitter, if we're bullish and we do get something like this, which is wildly bullish, you can see that although price moves up a lot, it will come back and test this 50-day. It'll move up a lot, come back and test the 50-day or even the 100-day underneath. And that seems to keep happening. So we get these moves going up and everyone thinks it's going to keep going up forever, but it will come back and test the 50-day, even if we are wildly bullish. So that's all I've been trying to say on Twitter. So this could keep going a little bit more. As we said, we're coming into the 618 here, so it might slow down. And then we come back and retest this 50-day, which is, by the time it happens, could be confluent with this blue box. And if we can retest the 50-day and the blue box as support, that's looking pretty strong. So yeah, lots of interesting things to keep an eye on there. I'll obviously keep you updated on Twitter and on these little videos going forward. Interesting last 24 hours, crazy move down, then a really big recovery, particularly Quant, which has strong as fuck at the minute. I mean, you can see how strong it is against Bitcoin. It's, you know, we're still nearly into all-time high territory here. So let's keep a close eye on that. And yeah, lots to pay attention to and keep an eye on. So thanks for listening, everyone, and I'll keep you updated and speak soon. Take care, guys. See you later.